Welcome to a new video. There's been a lot of talk recently from a few people on the VC about videos, how many you do. I probably kick out more than some on the VC, but I've got more time on my hands being retired. But I am going to try and slow down a little bit because people don't have enough time to watch them. Seems common sense to me. But anyway, this is another of my new releases of videos. This is the 9th. And if you're counting, you'll probably realize that we're in the 9th month of the year. So I'm trying to keep one a month on here. And we're approaching the final quarter. So let's get to this. I've got a number of new releases from possibly a couple of months back that I'm going to cover. And most of these I'd never heard of before. I'm going to start off with the first one, which is a band, if that's the right term, called Lonelady, and an album called Former Things. Now, Former Things is basically the invention of one Julie Campbell, a Manchester-based young lass, influenced very much by the post-punk era, but later has integrated dance and funk influences into her music. Very early on, Campbell used to play alone at gigs, just with electric guitar and a drum machine. But she later then created a 4-piece live band. And now we've got this third album. It's the first in 6 years, the previous one being the 2015 Hinterland. I haven't heard that. Anyway, this album recorded outside her beloved Manchester, unlike her previous work. And it's an album with crisp textures and restless beats. And Julie, well, it's very much a one-woman show. She plays these instruments on the album. Guitar, she sings, of course. She plays the synthesizers, cellos, samplers, bass, electronic drums, and she establishes a very brutal guitar plucking style, stripped of nearly all the effects, combined with staccato bursts of percussion and simple drum lines. Lonelady, as the name suggests, needs no introduction really to any other musicians on this. Classified as indie rock, I'm going to just briefly run through some of the tracks. In fact, most of them. The Catcher starts us off. It's a bit of a dance punk sound, got a very 80s jerky feel to it. There Is No Logic is next, hip hop synths beats, and the vocals very reminiscent of a young Annie Lennox, I thought. The title track's next up, and here I hear Talking Heads Tom Tom Club in the rhythm chords. It's very easy listening. Glockenspiel is also featured with some strings, and then we have Time, and more nods to that Tom Tom Club. Flip It Over, Threats, is electro funk song, and it creates a sort of feeling of paranoia when you listen to it. Fear Colours is a standout. It zaps and beeps, and vocoders are heard throughout. And then we have Treasure, which slides in with some very slick beats, and it's those zaps and beeps again. And then the Terminal Ground sees us out, and here you can hear lots of New Order, and it's very innovative, probably more so than that other Manchester band, and it's pretty odd sort of stuff, but quite appealing. So there we are. I'd give it a listen. Former Things by Lonelady. An album called Twin Shadow by a band called Twin Shadow. Maybe a band is a bit of a stretch. It's the 5th album by one George Lewis Jr., who was born in the Dominican Republic, and he's certainly a lover of soul and punk, been around for a decade, and a lot of his music emulates from the 80s ecto pop era, and he engages his audience with a bit of nostalgia to power up pop ballads. It's a bit of a mix, this one, rock, funk, soul and pop, and I have to say I've listened to it about 4 times now, and I think it's a very impressive piece of work. So I'm going to just slot through some of the tracks next to highlight them. Here starts us off, that's Germany of course. Gentle acoustic soul tune with rapturous vocals, and this West Indian inspired chorus in the harmonies, you can definitely hear it. There's some exquisite twin guitar breaks which sweeten that chorus. Sugar Cane's up next, a bit more synthesized pop soul beat with a funky chord riff here, which filters into more tasteful guitar. I really love the guitar on this album. Lewis has a dominant vocal presence for sure, but it's quite dreamy here. Johnny and Johnny is next, a very Caribbean feel, tropical bounce, and horns poke through briefly. Sounds extremely impressive. Get Closer is the next track. More pop feel here with a sing-along sort of hook. It's got some more strutting brass, and there's a great sax solo thrown in. And then we get on to Is There Any Love, track 5, and this had a certain disco skip about it. Instant tip-tap footing when you're listening, catchy chorus to this funk tune, and the horns provide a solid beat, and there's a neat synthesized indulgence. It's got some lovely spacey guitar at the outro as well. Halfway through, let's go to the next track, Gated Windows. Is it chill wave, I asked myself. No idea what that means, but it sounds smooth and it oozes with talent. There's a melodeon, some psychedelic guitar in here, and of course the brass. Great track. Modern Man is track 7. This is a soul ballad with gleeful vocals. It owes a nods to the Purple one, Prince, and it's very impactful with the keyboards and guitars, keeping you constantly interested. And then Lone Star is very synth dominated. It has a reggae sort of feel to it, lurches in and out, and I love it. A synth pop mixes with that original sort of reggae style combination. And then the penultimate track, Brown Sugar, it's got a very 50s chord structure, I felt, but in addition there's those 80s synth strings to modernise it all. And then the final track, I Want to Be Here, Shotgun, it's horn driven, this one, up-tempo soul, soft rock mix with a touch of nice calypso guitar. So, well, I can't recommend this album more highly. It's a very, very smooth piece of work, hugely talented. You feel good when you're listening to it. You are tempted to get up and do a little wiggle, and very, very competent stuff. This will definitely be in my end of the year top 20. I can guarantee that. And so there we have it then. Twin Shadow by Twin Shadow, aka George Lewis Jr. Get to listen to it. After 2 album reviews that you probably didn't know anything about, now I'm going back to a man that you will know a lot about. And this is the recently released album Welcome to America by Prince. It's almost, I think, 4 years since his death, maybe 5 years. And this is music that he recorded in 2010 and in his archive vault. And it's basically him with a bass and drummer. The bass player is very interestingly is Taj Wilkenfeld, who I first came across on the Live at Ronnie's Jeff Beck show, and she was absolutely delightful on that live effort. You can guess that by the way that Beck keeps smiling at her when she's playing the bass guitar. Chris Coleman's on drums, and I think there's been a few other releases since Prince's death, but this is the one that I think is the best so far. Doubtless there's far more than this to come, but this it's surprising why this wasn't released. And I'm going to go through the tracks now to get you a flavour of a genius at work. Start with the title track, just a gentle funky groove with that electro synthesizer and succulent feminine harmonies. Well, probably Prince dubbing that with spoken word. Running Game is next. Can't remember that one, so I'll move on to Born to Die. It starts to get more strident here. The vocals typical high falsetto and sleazy with even nice light horns back in the mix. The beat is succulent, and the vocals stink of social mischief. Stunning track. Next is 1,000 Light Years From Here. More up-tempo pop R&B here, and it shines through with some jazz riffy guitar with strings back in the mix as the pace quickens. Another impressive effort. And then Hot Summer. This is his first rock launch on this set. Where's the Corvette, Prince? It's very much bubblegum pop. Track 6, then Stand Up and Be Strong. There's a nice piano ballad to this, a staple of Prince's palette, it has to be said. Nice feminine vocals, and it's almost a sort of duet. We lose the ballad mid-table, and it's replaced by a brief pop riff, and then Prince adds a bevy of guitar before recycling the vocal interplay. And finally, Prince struts those fast guitar runs, and yahoo, it's a rocker, Tina Turner style, audacious. Next up's Check the Record, just a bit of hot funk really, easy Vogue stuff, nothing too memorable about it. And then we have same page, different book, again funky jazz here. It's got some juicy bass runs from Taj on here, and that choppy guitar chord. Basic jam really, but I love it. Move your ass, girls and guys. It's for Prince fans only, this one. And then When She Comes, a nice slow blues ballad. Distinctive Purple One's vocals, of course, sultry falsetto style. And occasionally he gives us a pinch of his baritone depth. Very classy. And then we get Rin Tin Tin, which is a conglomeration of bits of soul, funk, rock, pop mixed with the synthesizers. The vocal arrangements are quite complex with some odd Zappa influenced noises. And then the track Yes, I think we're at 11 now. Strident 1999 style funk rock list. It's fun, filled action, meaning the 1999 album as reference. And then we finish off with One Day We Will All Be Free, a slow, swingy, smoochy, quickly likeable song, danceable, funky pop. The lyrics are a bit corny, but who cares? This is a excellent recording, an excellent release. I'm a great lover of Prince, so it's like a duck to water to me. The problem is there are people out there that can't stand him. I think they need to get a new set of ears. But anyway, that's my review of the latest release from the Prince back catalogue. Get it right. Welcome to America. New releases out there. I'm still got a backlog of about 20. I'm never going to catch up. I'm having to miss out really good music to be reviewed because I just haven't got the time. if I want to put out a reasonable product for you. And I just can't just name the name of the album and say it's great and move on. To me, that's a waste of time. Sorry if I've insulted a few, but I need some meat on the bone here. So here we go with Southern Avenue. This is an American five-piece blues and soul band from Memphis, Tennessee. They were formed in 2015, and they took their name from a street in Memphis on the eastern part of the city limits near Soulville. I don't know that, but I got that little bit of info. That's where Stax Records were, and it probably gives you an inclination as to what this band are all about. Leader Ori Naftali grew up in Israel but relocated to Memphis in 2013, and he competed in Israel in the International Blues Challenge competition. Naftali made the move permanent and toured the US with his own band. However, Naftali later met the Memphis native Tirini Jackson, a vocalist who introduced him to her drumming sister Tikya. Other musicians joined the fledgling outfit in 2015, and they took the band name Southern Avenue in recognition of the Memphis street. And that was less than a year after their formation. They signed a recording contract with Stax Records. I'll tell you what the name of the album was. So here goes, Be the Love You Want. And I know that because that opens the album, and it sounds like Beyonce's older sister. Terrifically rhythmic, and the horns succulent and punchy. And there's a bluesy guitar that just wraps it up perfectly. Then we go to Control, and there's a congas Curtis Mayfield style lead into a palette of soulful vocal gospel styles. Aretha's alive and well, and she's also got Chaka Khan there. The guitar and horns mesh together perfectly. Then track 3, Don't Hesitate, Call Me. It's a sort of got Jackson's voice and Nafat's distorted wah-wah guitar entwined. It's a soul blues that bleeds purity. Instrumental break is southern blues with gorgeous harmonies. You're probably getting the gist that I like this stuff. Push Now's next, and again, a really funky R&B number this. Fences, awesome R&B blues, gospel with stunning vocal and great soaring guitar solos. Am I becoming repetitive? Well, we'll press on to Let's Get It Together. This swings with the horns and the background vocals feeding into a liquid guitar solo. And then the gospel singer, syncopated, unaccompanied, on Heathen Hearts is absolutely top draw. Track 8, Move Into the Light. It's an up-tempo, funky disco number, scorching R&B, reminiscent of Rufus, I think, and some of Prince. And then Love You Nice and Slow is a sexy mid-tempo slow jam. It's emotionally committed, to be sure, by those lead vocals. And then the last few tracks, Pressure, great blend of soul, punk, funk here, and the blues also seeps through with that raw gospel vocal. There's some striking guitar solos on this as well. Too Good to Be True weds elegant soul to jazz pop. It's an airy groover with a fist-pumping chorus. And then the final track, Move On, is a real party rave. Great guitar immersed in solid rhythm, and it's a great closer. Well, this was really took me by surprise when I put this on. I was instantly in love with it. I've played it about 4 or 5 times now, and it doesn't wilt on you. Great release, great piece of music. Thoroughly recommend it if you're into black music with a touch of sort of rock tinged in. I suppose there might well be some who might think it's a little bit like Funkadelic. I don't know that band very well, but I do know that this is pretty strong stuff. So that's the fourth offering on today's new releases. Finish off then in future videos, probably the next one. I'm going to quickly look at an album by I'm trying to get it by Leroy Bridges called Gold Digger's Sound, which is a soul contemporary R&B funk. And I'm also going to review We Are by John Baptiste, not a black artist, new to me, but highly competent pianist. For the first time by Black Country New Band, which is an English band, and they're very experimental rock. I'm going to also have a look at a band called Peroshka, Love Drips and Gathers, which is a shoegaze style type of music. And if I get a chance, I'll also be looking at the latest release by the Benin diva Angelica Kidjo. So that's to come. Oh yeah, and also in the backlog, Lindsey Buckingham latest release just come out, and there's a few more as well. Ugh, I'll be worn out. Enjoying it though. Anyway, you get to listen to these albums. You will not be disappointed. Excellent new material. 2021 releases, apart from Prince, of course, but he's been dead for a few years, so, you know, he can't release new material, can he? Bye.